connecting so many people? Okay, yes.
Internet issue, ma'am.
Okay. Because of that, it will show like that. Again, Nikhil still it is calling, it is coming. See, yesterday I called few students and they have not responded. Navya, Jeet, Justice, Sri Harsha. I will not call out their names again. I have noted down their names until I want a proper explanation why they have not responded yesterday. Even if you attend today, you will not be allowed for writing the quiz. Okay, yesterday few students has responded me after that saying these are the issues. I told them to attend it from today. That is not a problem. But still, there are many students whom I called yesterday. They have not at all responded anything. Even if you want to join today, join. I will leave today. From next class, I will remove you directly. If you don't want to attend, you can you can leave from Teams. I am not asking you to join here. Okay, simply joining here when some discussion tutorial sessions are happening. If you're not interested in doing that, if you have doubts, you can ask. If you don't know, at least you can ask me. I will explain. Simply joining and leaving somewhere and by calling out throughout and you people are not responding, what does that represents? For namesake, you want to be here. I don't want that. Anyhow, we are not giving attendance something.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm Navya. Yesterday when you called out my name, I responded, ma'am.
Yeah. You messaged in the Teams that time itself. Okay, I saw that.
Yes.
Okay, whatever you want to this your own interest. I cannot pull you out from everyone to come sit. See, now also somebody is joining, leaving. If I see the screen, I have to see only the screen. I cannot go to the other screen and I cannot start the class. You are grown up children, right? You have network issues. That is fine. I understand. But joining like this and leaving out and going out somewhere during tutorial session also, what is this? Tell me. In your own interest only, I am spending 1 hour to solve it in front of me, right? Otherwise, you people will not solve. Truly speaking, how many of you have solved all the 6 problems which I gave yesterday? Tell me, raise your hands. Yesterday you closed your notebook and today you are opening. Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me the truth. Tell yes or no. How many of you have completed all the 6 problems? I know nobody would have done. Hardly 1 or 2 would have done. If I give some time and if I make you force you to do in front of the in the class itself only, you people will do. In that also, if people are not responding, what I can do? Tell me. Okay. How many of you have completed all 6 problems yesterday? I think Abhishek has completed. He has asked me something. After that, anyone has completed 4 or 5, whichever I have given. Yes or no? Tell me yes or no, right? I can move to the next topic. I will not scold you. I will not come and check your notebook. Sriram.
No, ma'am, I haven't completed.
Then you should tell, right? No or yes. I am expecting that only, right? I will not ask Sriram, show your notebook, show this line, that line. I am not going to ask that. Okay. You're not an LKG kids to check, no? Your homework notebooks.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I am telling you people will not do. I'll give 1 more hour next week so that after completing few more problems on the distributional lexical, I'll give some more problems so that you can do all those together the next tutorial session. Okay. At least problems have it with you. I think it is there in the file section, right? Again, I will not post the problems. Problems you have with you. Next tutorial session, we'll continue with this problem along with the distributional semantics problem. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll start with semantics. So last class we have talked about syntax. Syntax talks about the arrangements of words in a given sentence. What is semantics? This is the next last topic. Last part of your NLP is a semantics. So we started with pre-processing. Then we started after pre-processing. What we have seen? What we have seen after pre-processing. Basic text pre-processing we have seen. After that, language model. Yes or no? Can you list out the topics which we have learned, the main topics? Can you all able to hear me, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, can you list out the topics what we have? Basic main topics, not the every subtopics.
Ma'am, language model,
Very good.
morphology.
Very good. Basic pre-processing, language model, morphology, POS tagging, syntax we have learned. Last one is semantics. Okay. Semantics. 1 minute. 1 minute, students. 1 minute, 1 minute. I want to call. So next topic is semantics. So semantic syntax is the arrangements of words in a given sentence, where semantics is what? Can you tell me what is semantics from the name itself? Semantic analysis.
The logical arrangement,
Meaning of the words, okay, how they can combine together to form the meaning of the given sentence. Okay, so in syntax parts, how the words are arranged. Given a grammar, if I can able to get a proper tree from the grammar, then I can say the sentence arrangements of the words are correct, syntactically correct. Semantics, meaning, whether that word has a corresponding. If I have a word called bat, if that word has multiple meanings, yes or no? Bank, if I have a bank, it may be a river bank, it may be a financial bank. So that word bank, so we know that if there is a word bank in a sentence, so based on the context, that bank is a river bank or it is a financial bank. But how to make the system to understand meaning of that word? So how to find that bank is a financial bank or it is a river bank? So it will take the context of the previous words, and based on that, it will analyze this bank is a financial bank. In this sentence, this bank is, they are talking this word bank based on the financial thing. Based on this context, based on in the sentence, the word bank, based on the previous context, they are talking about the river bank. Similarly, if you take bat and bat, bat can be a mammal or bat can be a cricket bat. Okay, so many meanings a word can have. So what is the correct meaning for in that particular context we are going to see. We know based on the context, but how the system knows. Okay, so we will be finding out the semantics part here. So semantics is mainly the meaning of the words, how they are combined together to find the meaning of the overall sentence, the study of the meaning of the words. Okay, so definition of the syntax is the study of the meaning. That is, what is the relationship that exists between the symbols and what they denote. Okay, the symbols are nothing but the words. Okay, consider the given example here. Okay, so John told Mary that the train moved out of the station at 3 o'clock. Okay, so in this sentence, we have multiple words. Okay, in semantics, first find all the words themselves, what they mean separately. Okay, so what is John? So each and every word, what they are meaning it, you have to find out. Okay, then only we can find out the train means the train here depends upon. So John told Mary that train. So it's a one object which is moving from one place to another place. It is starting at 3 o'clock. We knows how to make the system to understand. So since we want to study the meaning of each and every word, so what you have to do is in semantics, first find all the words themselves, what it means separately. Take each and every word in the given sentence and find out what each and every word will mean separately based on the given sentence. So if you take the first word John, what it meant, it is a separate symbol. What it meant, what it denotes. What it denotes?
Name of a person.
Name of a person. Okay. Next you take Mary. Another word. Another. It is also second symbol. Okay. Another symbol in the word, in the sentence. What it depends. What it denotes. What it meant. Mary is also what it meant.
A name of another person.
A name of another person. So what is St. John is also name of a person. Mary is also a name of a person. In what way John and Mary are connected? John is the source and Mary is the destination to receive. John is a source, having that he is telling, he knows the information. So he is telling something, conveying something to whom?
Mary.
Mary. Okay. So like that, each and every word you take it separately and find what it means and what it denotes. Okay. So what is the meaning of each and every word in that sentence? John is a person name, what it denotes in this sentence. Told is a word, what it denotes, telling something. Mary is a symbol in this word. It's a separate symbol, what it denotes. It is also a name of a person. Mary gets information from John. John is the one who is conveying information to Mary. Okay, train is some object which is moving from one place to another place. Okay, station is the place where train comes from. Like that, each and every 3 o'clock is represents the time in which the train moving from one source to destination. Okay, from one place to another place, moved out of the station, from which station. Okay, like that. So if you take each and every word, then only we can find out the meaning for that word. Okay, so in this semantics, you take each and every word and take it separately and find out what they denote. Okay, so each and every word in a sentence, we call it as a symbols here. Okay, this is how they have given a diagrammatic representation. This is not required here. See, John is an agent, Mary is a recipient, tell is a word, time in past. Okay, that is told, he told. Okay, so then from station to station, station is a location. What is the time? To time, from time, 3 o'clock. What is an object? They are considering train. So like that, they have made a diagrammatic representation. This and all is not required now. Okay, it's graphical representation is not required. You can find out which are all the entities and which are all the events, how they are related. Find the functional relation among the various entities. John is an entity. Okay, station is an entity. And what are the events happening? Okay, told is one event. John told Mary what he told. Train moved out of the station. What is the time? 3 o'clock. Like that, you find out what each and every events are present in the given sentence. No need to draw the diagrammatical representation. This is for your understanding. I have given here. Okay. Next one. So this is the general part of the semantics. Next one, we'll move to computational semantics. What is computational semantics? Is study of how a computer or machine can interpret the semantics, meaning of the word. We call it as computational semantics. In short, if you want to say, this computational semantics is a study of how to make the computer or machine can interpret the semantics of a sentence or semantics of a word. That is meaning of the word. Okay, there are two types of computational semantics. One is the formal semantics and other one is the distributional semantics. Here we are not touching about the formal semantics part at all. Here we have only the distributional semantics part. So what is formal semantics is, formal semantics, we will be constructing a mathematical model that tells the relationship between the various expressions or various things present in the natural language. Okay, so formal semantics we are not touching here. There are two types of computational semantics. One way is a formal semantics and other way is a distributional semantics. So formal semantics part we are not going to touch here. This topic is distributional semantics. So distributional semantics is a part of the computational semantics. We'll look into distributional semantics in detail. At least you know what is formal semantics. Formal semantics, what it does is it constructs a mathematical model which tells the relationship between the various expressions in the natural language. Okay, and it relates them to the world. That is how it relates them to the world. It can be represented as a predicate logic. Okay, that is convert the natural language sentence into a, if you want, in short, if you want to say, it converts the natural language sentence into a mathematical form. Okay, that is predicate logic is done in formal semantics. If you take this example, John chases a bat. If you want to predicate mathematical structure that denotes the meaning of the sentence. If you want to represent some mathematical form, represent this sentence, John chases a bat, in terms of a mathematical sentence. Okay, so we can put it in a logical form that there is an X. Okay, there is an X where X is what? There exists an X where X is what? X denotes what? X is defined as what? There is an X where X is defined as here what? In this mathematical notation, X is defined as what? Can you see this mathematical expression for John chases a bat? There exists an X where X represents what? X denotes what? Defined as what? X is defined as? X is defined as what here? Even if it is wrong, tell me students, X is defined as what? See, John chases a bat is a sentence. Can you all able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I muted or something? No, right?
You are audible, ma'am.
Okay, John chases a bat. So here they are writing in formal semantics, they are representing the mathematical representation. Okay, constructing, this is not there. Okay, at least one example I am telling. This is how they will be constructing and they will be representing. So the mathematical expression what they are using is a predicate logic. Okay, so in that predicate logic for this sentence, they are converted into a predicate logic form. There is an X where X represents what here? X represents what? There is an X where X is an variable which represents what? Bat. Very good. There is an X where X is defined as a bat and chase is a predicate here. John, chase, John, X means what? What this represents? John chases X, where X is a, how you are defining bat? Bat. Okay. Chase is a predicate. John, X means what it will be? John chases X. Okay, you have to represent here to interpret it as John chase X, where we are representing X as a bat. So this may be John chases a bat. Okay, this is how we'll convert the natural language expression to predicate logic form. How to convert this natural language expression into logical form? And then also we have various rules to convert it. Okay, how to convert it. This we are not going to touch here. This is a formal semantic just to know about what is a predicate logic. Okay, okay. Next part is the distributional semantics. Distributional semantics only we will be learning here. Okay, so distributional semantics is based on distributional hypothesis. It is the study of statistical pattern of human word usage. How we are using the words. Okay, what is the pattern the humans are using the word usage to extract the meaning. Okay, so the meaning of the word. So here they have given various hypotheses here in distributional hypothesis. They have given various phrases for this. The first phrase is the meaning of the word is its use in language. Okay, so the meaning of the word is based on the usage of the word in the language. Okay, how it is used in that sentence. Language means in the sentence. The meaning of the word is its use in language means the meaning of the word, any word, is based on the usage of the word in that particular language, in that particular sentence. Okay, second hypothesis or second proverb, what they are telling is, you know a word by the company it keeps. That means what? You know the word by the company it keeps means what? Can you tell me?
Context by its
based on the context. If I have given a bat, based on the context, what are the other words I am keeping in there? Whether if that other words are describing about the playing, ball, all this, then that bat is a cricket bat. Or if it is a mammal sitting on a tree, giving a sound like that, means it is a mammal. Okay, so like that. Okay, so you know the word by the company it keeps. That means what are the other words which comes along this word in the corpus that tells me about the given word. Okay, that means what are the other words which comes along with this word in the corpus, which tells me about the word, more detail about this word in the corpus. Okay, next proverb, what they are telling is, next hypothesis, word meaning is reflected in its distribution, linguistic distribution itself. Okay, next one, words that occur in the same context tend to have similar meaning. Yes or no? Two words can have similar meaning or not? Two words will have similar meaning or not if the context in which they occur was similar. Yes. So in that is, two words are semantically similar if they have same distributional patterns. If the first word distributional pattern and the second word distributional pattern is same, then we can say that the two words are similar. Okay, then we can say that the words have, if the words are same context, if I am having one word two, both are representing the same context, then it will have similar meanings only, not 100% similar, at least 90% similar. That means that they will have, finally conclusion is they will have same distributional patterns here. Okay, next one, that is semantically similar words tend to have similar distributional patterns. The words which are similar will have same distributional patterns. Okay, all will come to same pattern. Okay, that is bring, bringing, brought, all these words. have similar meaning, okay, but in a different tenses. So all these are similar distributional patterns, okay. Next one. If you consider this word, consider the words or morphemes A and B to be more different in meaning than A and C. So for example, you take three words, okay, three words A, B, C are three words I am taking. They are telling that A and C are, so can you read this and can you tell me what he is telling? This one. Can you read this and can you tell me the distributional structure? How many words they are taking and how they are related? This is a second. These are all the different hypotheses they have given for semantics. Semantic depends upon the company in which it occurs, meaning of the word based on the usage in which in the language, all this. Can you tell me what they are interpreting here in this? Jelling-Harris has given a distributional hypothesis or a distributional structure, and he is explaining in this way. Can you tell me, anyone, can you tell me what they are telling here? It's a simple thing only, right? Read and tell me what it, even if it is wrong, fine. How many words they have taken here?
3 words.
What are the three words they have taken?
A,
A,
B,
B, C. Okay, A may be a car, B may be a book, C may be an automobile. Assume that there are three words A, B, C. If you have a notebook, make a note so that you can able to understand how they are similar, not similar. They have taken three words A, B, C. I will assume that A may be a car, B may be a book, C may be an automobile. Okay. So these are the three words. What they are telling? A and C are?
A and C have different meaning than A and B.
Okay, A and C are more similar and A and B are more different. Yes or no? In the previous example, A and B are more different. A and B are more different in the previous. What is the example I have given for A? A I have given as what? Please tell me, student. Just now I am telling, right? A, what I have given? Little louder.
Car.
Car. B, I have given? Book. So A and B are more different? Car and book are more different or they are closer to each other? Extremely different, right? Yes. So A and B are more different and A and B are, A and C are?
Similar.
Okay. So in that case, similarly, the distribution between A and C will be similar and A and B will be? The distributional pattern between A and C, car and automobile, patterns will be similar or different?
Similar.
Similar. A and B will be?
Different.
Different. That's why what they are telling, take three words, find the distribution of each word based on the context. Okay, based on the context, and then based on the distribution, they are telling that A and C are quite similar and A and B are different. So instead of A, B, C, I have taken three examples, car, book, and automobile, and I am finding the distribution for each word based on the context. Based on the context, car is an automobile, comes under the part of an automobile. Okay, book comes under the reading context. Okay, so I can say that car and automobile are more similar and car and book are more different because car comes under automobile, book comes under the reading distributional patterns. Okay, book can be a novel, it can be a textbook, so it comes under this. Car comes under an automobile, under automobile it comes under the four-wheeler, like that. Okay, so we can make this distributional pattern. So he has given a distributional pattern. Explain the distributional pattern by taking three different words and how two words are similar and how two words are different based on the distributional pattern of the words. Okay, different, that is different. They are differential, then they are not referential. They are different to each other. Okay. Next one, contextual representation. So to know that contextual representation, here take this example in based on what context we are explaining. Okay, contextual representation is the words depends upon the same word will be used in different sentence, but based on the context, the meaning of the word differ. Okay, so I am giving two sentences here. So can you tell me the highlighted word vampirmak represents what in the first sentence, represent what in the second sentence? Don't tell exactly what it is. It explains about what. To learn about the contextual representation, I have given two sentences, and both the sentence has a word called vampimak. I don't know what is vampimak is, but based on the context, based on the remaining words, context of the remaining words present in the sentence, can you guess what will be the vampimak? So please look about the corresponding words occurring around it and tell me what is vampimak in the first sentence and what is vampimak in the second sentence, what it will be.
In the first sentence, it can be something like a glass or a jug or something.
Very good. Some kind.
And in second,
very good.
in
Glass or
second one, it is like an animal.
Very good. Very good. So I don't know what is vampimak meaning, but based on the context, I can able to make out, right? Okay, you assume that I don't know about the meaning of the vampimak. Based on this, I have assumed that first sentence, by looking about the words occurring around the given sentence in the first sentence, based on that's called as contextual representation. Okay, in distributional semantics, we have to go around the contextual representation to find the meaning of the word, because the same word will have multiple meanings. So based on the context in which the sentence it is used, I will be finding out. Vampimak, I can say that it may be some sort of a container or a glass or something other than a container or glass, which is used to fill the substance. Some sort of thing which is used to fill a substance. Whereas in the second sentence, the vampimak is considered as a small animal. Okay, it may be a little vampy. Since they are given a little vampimak, I can say it is a small animal. Okay, so this is how the distributional semantics works in contextual representation. Based on the context, how it works. Okay, next one we'll go to distributional semantics. That is model used in distributional semantics. We call it as distributional semantics model. So here it will be in the conceptual model is used to build a contextual semantics representation from the corpus data. Okay. So the other names for distributional semantics model is corpus-based semantics based on the corpus, statistical semantics, geometrical modeling semantics, vector semantics, word space model. These are the alternative forms for distributional semantics model, which we are going to learn now. Okay. Here in this distributional semantics, distributions are the vectors in the multidimensional semantic space. That is that in which objects which has a magnitude and direction. Okay, we have two important things in distributional. When you construct a distributional semantics thing, we have distribution and semantic space. I'll show you the examples next. Okay, what is a distribution? Distributions are the vectors in a multi-dimensional space. That is object which has each object will have a magnitude and the direction. What is semantic space? Okay, semantic space has a dimension which corresponds to the possible context as gathered from the given corpus. From the corpus, we will be identifying some context that can be represented in a space called as a semantic space, that a multidimensional space called as a semantic space. That semantic space will have the magnitude and the direction, which is represented in terms of distribution. See here, this example, this is a vector space having an x and y axis in which A is a point which is being represented as 4, 3 means 4, 3. Okay, B is a point which is represented as 5, 6. Okay. So here distributional semantics method uses the vector concept in which each word represented as a vector. Okay, the vector that captures the semantics. Okay, so this is a vector space which represents a point. Similarly, if you want to the same thing, if you want to represent it for a given word, how it can be represented? Can you tell me here drive is one word and eat is another word, and I have given 3 context words. Okay, I have given drive as one and other one is eat, and I have given a 3 context word from the corpus. I have taken cat, dog and car. And can you tell me why cat and dog is aligned much to eat and car is much to drive and it is not to eat? And I have drawn a semantic spectrum in the vector space. I have drawn these points and I have plotted cat, dog, and car. And they are telling that cat is coming here, dog is coming here, and car is coming here. Can you tell me why? Can you justify from this diagram what you have justified, what you can understood?
We drive car and cat and dog eat.
Yeah, so eat and dog comes very close. Sorry, cat and dog comes very close to the word called eat. Dog also will eat something, cat also will eat something. So that is related to that. Okay, so that is comes close to that distributional pattern. When I am distributing the words, so I have two contexts. One is eat, another one is two things I am taking, eat and drive, and I am taking some words from the corpus and I am finding out which are the words which is close to these. And if there is some words which is not maybe close to this and this, that will be in the neutral form. Okay, so if I take cat and dog, we can say that it is very close to eat. Whereas if I take a car, that is very close to drive. Cat will not be very close to drive. Okay, so car comes close to drive, where cat and dog comes close to eat. Okay, this is how it is represented. This we will be seeing by giving a proper examples here. See in practice, many more. This cat is equal cat. So dog of 0.8 percentage, sorry, 0.8, eat with 0.7. So joke with 0.001, Manson with 0.02. So if you take only these two are coming close to this. Okay, cat, dog, eat, all these words will come here. Okay, so this in practice here we'll take one example. The next slide. See, I will be taking one example, small data set, and I will be explaining you how to find these words and how to plot this and how they are very close to each other. Everything we'll be seeing is this example. If you have a notebook, if you want, you can make a note of this example. Otherwise, because I'll be moving to the next slides, you can't able to tell me the words. Can you write it, or from here itself we will see? This, if you write, it may take some 2-3 minutes. This is the given data set. I have given one data set, small data set. From the data set, I want to build a vector space model for the data set. Built a vector space like this. The previous year built a vector space, right? Like this, I want to build a vector space model. And like this, I have to build and I have to find out which are all the words which is close to each other. Okay, based on the context which I have taken it. Can you make a note of this example here, students? Can you write it in your notebook? This, otherwise, if I move next slide, it is very difficult. See, till 3-4 slides, I want this. That's why. Can you please make a note?
Yes, ma'am.
This 5 sentence. Only till 5. Then I'll explain what is the first step. Somebody has messaged something. 1 minute, students. I got something.
Ma'am, I just posted that photo image also.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, if it is there, you can all open there from there and you can see it, right? I think she has posted there in the post section. There also you can check it out. If that case, I can continue.
Yes, ma'am.
You can all see there, right? So like this, a small data set is given. So we have to, question is to build a vector space model. Okay, the first step, make a note, steps to build a model. First, to find the words to represent. Okay, find out what are all the words to build a vector space model. Step 1 is to find the words to represent. That is to find the target words. So what are all the main target words present in the data set? Okay. So what are all the target words present in the data set? They are talking about what? This data set is mainly talking about what? First step to build a vector model, you have to find out the target words. Okay, what are all the main words they are talking about? So they are talking about automobile, yes or no? Yes or no? What are the target words? You have to find out the target words. First one is automobile. Second one is car. Third one is soccer. They are talking about the tournament, soccer. And fourth one is football. Any other thing? Target words, main target in which they are targeting the given data set. What are the main target words? Any other thing you can able to make out here? Please look into this and tell me. This is some sentence sentences I have given students some small data set to identify how to distribution words are distributed. I want to find in distributional semantics, find the meaning of the words, how they are close to each other. So what are the target words? So I have identified the target. First thing is you have to identify target words: automobile, car, soccer, and football. Okay. Second, step 2, what is the dimension in which we want to represent the target words? Dimensions are nothing but the characteristics. If you take a student, I have identified as a target. What are the characteristics in which a student can be represented? Name, register number, age, all these, right? Similarly, if you take automobile, what are all the ways it is explained that automobile? It's a wheeled motor. So wheel they have explained. It's a transporting passenger. So transport, passenger, like that. So car is a form of a transport. Transport is already like that. You have to find the second thing is you have to find the that is term vocabulary. What is term vocabulary is, please make a note. Term vocabulary is the dimension in which we want to represent the target words. In what context or what dimension or what characteristics we want to represent the context words. So I have identified 7 dimensions. Like this, you can identify any dimension. It is not fixed. Based on this, you would have identified something, others would have identified something. So this is the main target word. For the target word, the automobile can be expressed as a wheel. Wheel is a part of an automobile. Transport is a part of a car, is used for transport. Passenger will comes under car. Tournament comes under soccer. London comes under soccer. Goal. Football is a match. All these comes under the term vocabulary. So first one target word, second one vocabulary, term vocabulary, and third one, after finding it, you have to construct a so you find the target word, then you find the context window. Define a context window. What is that context window? Is number of words surrounding the target words. Please make a note. Context window is number of words surrounding the target words. How many words I have to consider surrounding the target words? That is a window. What is a window period? What is a window size? Whether I have to take only 3 words surrounding the target words, or 4 words, or 5 words, or the whole sentence. Generally, they have written here, see, the context window in general may be the entire sentence or the entire document. Here we'll take entire sentence as a context window. Sometimes context window, they will specify in the question as take 5 words surrounding the context target words. Okay. So that is a context window. Third one, you have to identify the context window. Then you can, last step, you can draw the co-occurrence matrix. Okay. Last step, you have to draw the co-occurrence matrix. So can you tell me what are the steps here? First step, what we have to do? First step, given a data set, what you have to do?
Find the target words.
Find the target words. Target words are the main context words. Okay, in what context they are explaining. Second one.
Term vocabulary.
What is term vocabulary?
What context in which target words are represented?
Okay, what characteristics that is represented. Good. Third one.
Context window, number of words surrounding the target word.
Okay, number of that is they will be given a size that 5 words, 3 words surrounding it. So you have to consider the 3 words and you have to find how it is. So if I that Vampymac, if I take, if the context window is 2 words, means the left side totally 5 words means 2 words this side, 2 words this side I can take. Or if there nothing is given, the entire sentence can be taken as a context window and you take each and every word and you find out Vampymac what it represents. Okay, that is your context window. Last one is the co-occurrence matrix. So co-occurrence matrix, we want to construct the co-occurrence matrix. Okay, that is count the what is co-occurrence matrix? You please make a note. Count number of times the target word co-occurs with the context word. Write it. What is co-occurrence matrix is? Count co-occurrence matrix tells the how many times the target word co-occurs with the context word. It's called as the co-occurrence matrix. Then we will be constructing the co-occurrence matrix. This can I let you know, can I teach you the next class? It may take some time. Co-occurrence matrix, how to draw for this example, I'll teach you in the next class and we'll find out how to construct the vector space. They are related. Everything I'll do it in the next class. We'll stop it here. Okay. Is that fine? Okay, so first thing you have